Hello folks, welcome to another video here in the freshly updated Microsoft Sim. Sim update number 11 has arrived, the 40th anniversary edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator. 40 years of the Microsoft Flight Simulator franchise. First released back in November of 1982. How 40 years flies when you're having fun, folks. What you're looking at on the screen is the, I guess you call it the setup page for a new discovery flight. A retrospective discovery flight is what the folks from Asobo, Microsoft, etc. are calling it. Yes, Meigs Field, Chicago is back. Thanks to the magic of the sim, we can go back in time to when this airport existed before someone got rid of it and turned it into a waterfront park, I think, from memory. Yeah, this video, folks, will be a video in two parts. Two flights today. We're going to do the Meigs challenge. Allow me to click the fly button and get away from that screen. We're gonna go for a bit of a blast from the past, back to the future, as they say. No, not back to the future at all. We're going backwards in time, mate. That doesn't work, does it? I really should just keep this simple. We're going to do the Meigs flight. We're going to do a circuit of Meigs Field, taking off runway 36, I suppose it is. Left traffic, as the Yanks say, and then landing on 36 in the Cessna 172. This view, just let me click ready to fly for you folks. This view right here is the very first view I ever saw in the Microsoft Flight Simulator franchise. Well, it's actually, technically, it's that view there. And I gotta tell you, back in the day, this panel looked a lot different. My Flight Simulator experience doesn't stretch back 40 years. I think it stretches back about 30 or 31. I'm not exactly sure. Like I'm 104 now. So yeah, that's about right. 30 something years. No, I'm not 104, although most days I do feel like it. Yeah, early 90s. Flight Simulator version 5, I think, back in the old MS-DOS days. Kiddies listening to this, do a Google on what MS-DOS is. Technically, does it still exist? Windows was built on top of it, so technically it might still exist, right? Anywho, before we had all these whiz-bang controllers and people had like full-blown simulators in their sheds, we had control of a virtual aeroplane via a keyboard. That's what we had back in the 80s and into the 90s. And I don't remember having a what do you call it? This thing in front of me? A stick. A joystick until Flight Sim 95. Yeah, 95. But up until then it was keyboard, and then keyboard and mouse, and then the sort of elementary early joysticks. As I sip on a warm bevy. We are going to do some flying, folks. As I said earlier, as I kick my toe on the bin. Far out. Oh, don't you hate that? This is what I go for a fly, mate. Anyway, as I said earlier, we're going to do this flight in two parts. If I can avoid a trip to the ER. Flight in two parts. We're going to fly the little Cessna here, which I'm going to do now for you. So, left traffic, overhead the buildings, the city of Chicago, back onto 336. What do you reckon? What do we need to do here? Anything? Have they done anything with this aeroplane? Like, changed anything? Probably not. Let's do it, folks. Full juice on the 172. Don't know what's happening with the wind. Oh, fantastic. Sounds a lot better than it used to. Certainly a different look out the front. There we go. We've got the acceleration happening. Here we go. We'll rotate around about 60 or something like that. No flaps takeoff. Here we go. Light winds. And we're airborne. No gear to worry about, no flaps to worry about. Climb to about 500 feet. Well, 500 feet ADL anyway, then a left turn over the buildings. So what are we about? Oh, about 1,000 feet on the old altimeter. We'll make a left-hand turn, climbing out. Should have climbed out at about 80, something like that. Full power climb. Can I take a view? I do have a view set up. There we go. Chicago O'Hare is over the other side, of course. Alright, we'll make a left-hand turn. It's bringing back the memories. Anyway, getting back to my point about there being two paths, I'm going to fly one of the new aeroplanes in the sim. What an update, hey? Can I just say, massive. I mean, we heard that word massive a lot. I think we can actually use it this time around. 270, overhead the buildings we go. On climb to about 1,500, something like that. Another left turn here before we hit that building. So you've got those points of interest being pointed out. Over there's Chicago Midway. That was the sort of triangle that you do, hey? You depart Meigs, across to O'Hare, then back to Midway, and then back to Meigs. Bring the power back. Here we go. We'll sort of fly 180 on the heading. Left downwind. Runway 36, which is down over there. There we go. We're a little bit higher than circuit height, getting chucked around a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to fly the. Well, I won't tell you what I'm going to fly yet. We'll get there eventually, folks. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit today, a little bit more than usual, and that's saying something. Just installed the sim. No dramas. I hope you've had a similarly seamless experience at your end. Big update. Took a while to come down the pipe. Yeah, but no dramas. Except for, actually, there's one thing that sort of I noticed. The sim's got rid of a whole bunch of hours from my logbook. I've lost a bit of PIC time. I don't know what's going on there. Thankfully, I keep a record sort of separately, because I fly in other sims as well, and I have experienced the old 0-hour logbook too many times over the years to not take sort of precautions. Yeah, we might make a base turn. Hey, what do you reckon? Bring that power right back now. So I've lost some hours. I'm thinking about 100 hours, and I really don't understand why. No big drama. And the other thing was, and every sim update does this to me. There's a strip. There we go. Make another turn towards final. It changes my settings to make the sim be in windowed mode instead of full screen mode. But apart from that, I think it's kept the rest of my settings. From what I can tell, I see a new setting. We've made that turn a little early. I see a new setting, something about NVIDIA latency or something like that. I've switched it on. I don't actually understand what it does, but I've switched it on. I don't know whether there are other new settings there that are triggered by like a different DX, a DirectX setting, maybe from 11 to 12. I'm running 11. Maybe if I turn on 12 I'll get different options, perhaps. Thanks, Betty. Here we go. We go full flap now. There it is, the view that ended many a simulation session back in the day. My first Microsoft Flight Simulator flight was from Meigs, and here we are 30 or 31 years later, a very different world. Back again. Fantastic. Oh, about 70 knots there on final. Here we go. Used to be an absolute doddle to land this thing with the keyboard. I'll probably make a meal of this now. There you go. Runway 36 Megs Field, folks. We'll go idle into a little bit of a flare here. This thing tends to float a bit, right? In this sim. Yeah, and I'm not doing a particularly good job. We're going to centerline pride it, and it's floating a long way out. Holding it off, way too long. There we go. Yeah, this thing still floats a little too much. Anyway, there we go, folks. A circuit around Megsfield, Chicago, available to you, along with a whole bunch of new stuff in the Microsoft Sim, courtesy of the 40th anniversary update, Sim Update number 11. So, through the magic of YouTube, in a few seconds, we're going to transition to a different part of the world and a different aeroplane, and take one of the new aeroplanes available in the sim for a bit of a spin. I'll see you in a bit. And here we are, folks, as promised. Different aeroplane, different part of the world. We've now got a DC-3 available in the sim. This one's by Aeroplane Heaven. Now, we do have a freeware DC-3 available as well, or previously did. Well, still do, unless the guy's taken it off the off the market. But now we have one available sort of through the sim marketplace, included for your virtual aviation pleasure even, with some update, Sim Update number 11. This mispronunciation of words and juxtaposition of words is becoming an issue for the old man. But he at least can still say juxtaposition, unlike some of his colleagues. Anyway, we have a DC-3, folks. We're in Switzerland, a place called Winterthur. Or it's probably pronounced slightly different by the Swiss. Winterthur, maybe? I don't know. I sounded Swiss-German there. I'm not going to try and do any more accents. That's a short grass strip. Visibility is... It'll be good enough for us. We're going to go for a short flight, folks. We're not going anywhere in particular. Look at the VC. That's not bad. Hey, pretty happy with that. It looks like a DC-3. Look at it. Bloody lots of knobs and levers, and yeah, it's got a little bit of character. I mean, it looks a little bit new, doesn't? Although they have got some weathering happening there on the outside. I'll give them that. It looks a little bit plastic at times. At some points, there's some weathering on the yoke and on the wheel and on the seat and over here. Oh, what's that? A comms box? Yeah. So, let me get my controls sorted. I've started on the runway. I don't know whether the cabin's model, whether you can go anywhere. Maybe not. Oxy, extinguisher, some storage, some electronics, bay stuff. Yeah, look, this is pretty bloody good, I reckon, and included as part of the update. Love that. 40th anniversary. Nice livery too, this one. The old blue, the old YOLO. I'm just lazy. I don't bother to change the call sign anymore. Just YOLO. I used that in a video a while ago, and I'm just YOLOing it every time I get into the sim. That's my new mindset, my new attitude. Should we go flying? Let's do it. I don't know much about flying a DC-3. I don't think I've ever landed one well. Let's gun it. Where are the flaps? Oh, there's some flaps. Are flaps indicating? Where's flaps? Hang on a second. Can I get rid of this? Can I get rid of the yoke? Flaps, what's that? Here we go. How about that? That'll do us. Let's go. Gun it. Parking brake released. Here we go. Oh, that's not a bad sound. See how we go. Do we get airborne around about 80 miles an hour? Is that about right? We've got to wait for the tail to come up to get the forward viz. There it comes. Tail's coming up. Got a right boot, mate. That airspeed build, and we're airborne. We're airborne about 70. Positive rate gear up. going to make an early left-hand turn. Gear takes a while to get up. About 100 knots. Climbing out about 1,000 feet a minute, get rid of all those flaps, climb up over these hills for a bit, take an external for you. There we go, the residents of Winterthur, Switzerland, on this fine morning. Always a challenge to fly from the external view. Come back on the old juicy. Hopefully not too far back. Yeah, the viz is a bit ordinary, isn't it? Could have done something about that, mate. This wasn't meant to be an IFR tutorial. Or a tutorial of any sort. I don't have a view set up at all, so I'm going to have to use the mouse and say, well, there's a runway down there somewhere. There it is. That's where we took off from. Going to be a really short flight, folks. I'm going to land. Whee, that's an interesting view. We've got some serious descent happening. We've sort of got to slow down a little bit. We've probably gone a little early, or a little high on the airspeed to drop the flaps and the gear. Anyway, it's coming back now. We go next stage of flaps to about half flap, something like that. Continue the left-hand turn. Yeah, look, it's just great to have this aeroplane and other new additions in the sim. The A310 is getting a lot of attention of the old content creators. I see. Where's the runway? Somewhere down here. Yeah, we've overshot the centre line, haven't we? Here we go. I've never landed a DC-3 well. I doubt that today is going to be the day to break that spell. We're high, we're wobbly. She's heavy. Here we go. So we're down about 90 knots. We're going to go idle. Runway 19 here at Winterthur. Try and go into a bit of a flare, a bit of a wheel at a touchdown. Oh, she's heavy in pitch. There we go. Bit onto the brakes. Tail's coming down. Are we going to stop before the end? That's the challenge. We're not stopping. Big lot of left boot. We're going to try and ground loop a DC-3. Jump outside. Have we made it? Oh, a bit of Tokyo drift at the end. We've sheared the gear off. Broken the right aileron. The right props gone as well. There we go. How not to land the DC-3. I keep my perfect record intact. Folks, I hope that you enjoy Sim Update number 11. There's so much to explore. I will do some of that exploration with some videos in coming days / weeks / months. But just get out there and enjoy it. Hope you're well. Thanks for your company in another video. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.